here's Brody Brazil.
You know, I had some very specific reservations about even making this video because I didn't want it to come across the wrong way. I'm not just here to try and throw shade at the A's organization with their temporary move to Sacramento, but I'm also so connected to the situation and understanding it and the bigger picture of what's going on here. I felt obligated to make this content decoding the A's recent visit to Sacramento. Several players were there in the first week of January. Brent Rooker signed a huge contract extension, which we're about to get into. There were a couple things that made headlines on the surface, but if you actually dive in a little bit deeper, I think there are some important takeaways as to what's really going on. And let's begin with Brent Rooker and that 5-year, $60 million contract extension. Before anything else, congratulations to Rook. His trajectory, his career, nothing was ever assured. And for him to get a deal like this from a team like the A's, it's almost unbelievable, to be honest with you. Here's what Rook said about signing the contract extension. Quote, "This is where I want to be, and I'm hoping that's what this communicates. This organization and this team is a very desirable place to play right now for a lot of reasons, mainly because of the group of people that we have involved on a day-to-day basis from top to bottom with this team. I love it here, and I'm excited for the next 5 years, hopefully 6. Yeah, by the way, there's a vesting option for a 6th year as part of this contract. So let's dive into some takeaways just on this alone, just on Brent Rooker signing this contract. And what he says is accurate in a sense of the field manager, Mark Kotsay, and the general manager, David Forst, and all the clubhouse staff. Like really, if you are on this A's team, everybody that you interface with on a day-to-day basis, I've got nothing but great things to say. He is right about the actual playing environment of the teammates you're surrounded by, the baseball people you're surrounded by. That is a good situation inside the A's clubhouse. His teammates are very likable, from a JP Sears to a Lawrence Butler to a Shea Langoliers to a Zach Geloff. Now, assuming that they're all around together for many more years to come. Like right now, they're building a pretty exciting group. Did I mention Mason Miller? Throw his name in there too. And Brent Rooker is a smart guy. Like that's how he got to be where he's at on this journey. That's how he made it. When you're intellectual like Rooker is, and you have the strength to hit 30 homers like Brent Rooker does, maybe 40 or beyond, it's a really good combination. And so Brent Rooker is in a very good place. However, to declare this an overall great situation yet, I think is a little premature. You're about to be a major league team playing in a minor league ballpark for multiple years. You're the only one that has now been attached to a long-term contract situation, and largely because we already knew this offseason the A's have to spend about $105 million, according to reports. Otherwise, potential grievances might be filed by the Baseball Players Association. They have to spend this money so that the $70-something million of revenue-sharing checks they get is not a problem. And whether it was the external market just wasn't there, or maybe it just makes more sense to reward somebody from within, the A's had to spend this money this offseason and in upcoming offseasons. And I'm not saying that Brent Rooker doesn't deserve this. I'm just saying it's a true departure from where the franchise has always been. What about Marcus Semien, Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, and so many others over the years that the A's did not choose to re-sign? Starling Marte, I'll throw out that name. The A's got him on a rental situation. They could have kept Starling Marte. What a player he was for that final stretch of that 2021 season. Is that what it was? Long story short, this is not par for the course of how the A's typically handle their players and their personnel and their groups. I mean, we've seen groups get dismantled overnight before. And I'm not saying necessarily that's going to be the case immediately, but for Brent Rooker to declare this is different now, I mean, he's probably been told that, but history would suggest that that's not how things operate. A desirable place to play, again, I'm not going to doubt him on a day-to-day basis and maybe the upward trend of what he saw in his team in the second half of last year, but let's also consider this. Brent Rooker just secured a $60 million contract. Let that sink in for just a second. Think about $60 million for you or I. That basically secures you and generations to come for the rest of your lives. And so, of course, everything is seen through a little bit of a different lens once somebody has given you $60 million and you're feeling great and optimistic about it. So I'm just saying, in the moment, for Brent Rooker to feel that way, obviously that's human nature. And again, I love Rook. I'm happy for Brent Rooker. But overall, how he sees it right now may not exactly be how it actually is in years to come. There's more, and we get this from Martin Gallegos of MLB.com. This is the group's visit out to Sacramento for the first week of January. The intermingling began on Sunday night when outfielders Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, JJ Bleday, and left-hander JP Sears enjoyed a private dinner at Mulvaney's B&L, a Michelin-recommended restaurant located near downtown Sacramento. In addition to being treated to a 5-course meal, the players encountered plenty of friendly welcomes from locals who were excited about the opportunity to watch Major League Baseball in their hometown. It wasn't just the dining experience. They got to go to a Kings game. Oh, more on that in just a second. There's the law dog Lawrence Butler. There's Brent Rooker right before the contract extension. Bleday is fist-pumping. JP Sears is yelling at something. Mark Kotsay is looking at himself on the Jumbotron. And there's Kings owner and River Cats owner and the owner of Sutter Health Park, Vivek Ranadive. And so obviously all of this makes sense, right? You come out to Sacramento, the Kings are playing the Heat. You come out to the game, you're honored on the scoreboard, you want to get this attention, you want to get these custom jerseys out to everybody. Ranadive and the Kings are rolling out the purple carpet. Did anybody get to light the beam while they were out here? You can understand that, look, they want to make a good first impression, Sacramento does, and Vivek Ranadive does, but the takeaways run even deeper than that. I think it's starting to become obvious once you actually see these interactions take place and once you actually see this relationship go. Vivek Ranadive is not just here to do a favor to John Fisher, the A's owner, and the team and the franchise and the organization. Vivek Ranadive is here to showcase Sacramento. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course he has intentions and ambitions, and he's got these properties in Sacramento he would only love to add and build to that equation. So nothing should be surprising there, but for anybody to think that, well, this is just being done as a favor alone, and as soon as the A's are done with Sacramento, that's it, Vivek won't ask for anything else, that may not also be exactly how it really goes. This first season, I think, of the A's in West Sacramento, it's going to reveal the amount and level of courting going on, right? Like, how much is Sacramento really trying to pitch themselves on the A's? What type of bond and connection will they make with the A's? But also, what are they going to try and do with Major League Baseball as a showcase situation? Who knows about the Las Vegas stuff working out or not, or when that's finalized, or when shovels are actually in the ground? I mean, some of that should probably be coming soon. But until then, you have the idea that Sacramento is basically going to do everything they can to put themselves in a positive light. And I'll be honest, from the flip side of it, if you're the A's and you're landing in Sacramento, and this is only for 3 years, do you really need to have much community attachment to Sacramento? It's a temporary situation. This is like staying at a hotel. This is not a rental. This is not buying a home. This is staying at a hotel for 3 years. This is a VRBO for 3 years. Or an Airbnb. What do people call it? Airbnb. Let's call it an Airbnb for 3 years. The A's actually should be putting most of their effort, I think, into entrenching community efforts in Las Vegas already. Nobody would think that's a problem if that is their end game, if that is their 30-plus year solution in 2028 or 2029. Nobody would fault the A's if they said, hey, we just don't have the resources or the bandwidth to do much in Sacramento. We're going to take our people straight to Las Vegas, and we'll be here in Sacramento, but we're just not going to do much. I don't think the A's are obligated to do anything in Sacramento. So why make the push? Why bring the players out? Why cause a splash? If you're already selling tickets, what's the reason to really make this connection? I'm also interested in the third party of this, the fans. Forget Vivek Ranadive, forget the A's side of it. How about Sacramentans? How will they intentionally attach or not to this baseball team? Because sometimes if you know it's temporary, you just don't care about it. Great, I'll watch it once or twice. That's it. I just wanted to see it. Okay, they're here, they're gone, no big deal. Some Sacramentans, I feel, though, might catch some feelings here. Might get attached to this baseball team and realize that the temporary thing could potentially be a permanent thing, and they want to make every single push possible to make that happen. Okay, last thing here from Martin Gallegos, and the A's announced recently that their 2025 season tickets at Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento, they've officially sold out. Single game tickets are going to go on sale at some point later in January. Okay, now that's an important thing to declare, I guess. It's mostly a pat on the back for yourself. Hey, we did it. But here's my takeaways on this. I mean, the ballpark only has 10,000 physical seats, and it has 4,000 more seating spots on the grass area in right field and the outfield. We don't know what sold out in terms of season tickets means. And how many are they keeping for a game-to-game basis? Are there 4,000 season tickets sold out? 5,000, 8,000? Does it even really matter? This number is so small. I mean, the A's even averaged 11,500 fans in their final lame duck season at the Coliseum. Now, some of that might be skewed because of the final couple games and people wanting to attend more. But the point is here, it's not exactly something to boast about, getting to 10,000 or getting to 14,000 fans on a nightly basis. There is kind of a problem if the A's don't sell out every single game. And so to say that you've sold out season tickets, we really don't know what that means. It also might mean that if there's only a couple thousand single game tickets available or game-by-game tickets available, that those costs might skyrocket for what they are on the initial market, on the secondary market. This might make it a very expensive proposition to even go to a game. So again, to say that the season tickets have sold out and this is early, there's really nothing to read into this. The bigger point is that you're expected to sell out. If you don't sell out every single game for 3 or 4 years at this ballpark, then there's a problem. That's not a high bar to meet. So wanted to decode a little bit of what's going on up there in Sacramento right now. And again, we'll see. Maybe there is a change of course. Maybe there are more players to be signed to long-term contracts. Maybe Brent Rooker is not the only one. But history would suggest that maybe he is, and maybe he was signed to that deal for a reason. And who knows how this is ultimately going to go for the A's. We still don't have the clear picture of what the next couple years look like, or even what happens beyond that. You've made it here to the end of this video. I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. It helps me in this video and this channel. And one more thing before it ends, go down there and hit that subscribe button. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.